Hi everyone. So I want to tell you about a strategy that I use, just in general. Now, this can apply to a lot of situations. The first one is when you're in college and you're doing a technical type degree and you're dealing with a hard problem that you're having trouble figuring it out. And it can also apply if you're just starting working, or maybe you've been working for a long time and you have a problem like that. I think we refer to this as being in the woods, at least I do. And the thing is, being in the woods is not a lot of fun because you may not understand what's out there in the woods, and that's what makes it scary. So let's take a programming project, for instance. If you're doing a project for a class, say in computer science class, you're working on something that doesn't work yet you know that it must be able to work because the professor has given you this as an assignment, and if it was impossible, well, that would have been kind of cruel. Another example I can give you is if you're at work and you're fixing a problem on a system that used to work and now does not, or maybe has hit a snag. So there's a lot of other things this can apply to, but let's just think about it. You're working on this problem, something doesn't work, you're looking at everything that you've thought of, and you're not seeing a clear way out. It doesn't make any sense, something just isn't right. The best thing that you can think to yourself is, something's gotta make this clock tick. Whether it's the thing that your professor gave you, which you know must work, something has got to work because other students have done it, then something's gotta make that clock tick. If it's something that you're trying to fix, then something had to have made that clock tick before, and perhaps there's a reason it's not ticking perfectly now. There's a lot of things that you have to think, but if you get into the wrong mindset, which is, this is dumb, this is just too complicated, why they designed this like this, this is this is the kind of thought process we want to try to avoid because it tends to lead to oblivion. Now, a good thought process is, there must be a way that this works because it's worked before. Or, there must be a way that this works because I don't think the professor's going to fail everyone. Or, there must be a way that this works because other people have done it. I've seen it with my own eyes. It definitely can be done again. And if you can get into that thought process, it will help you through the woods of the problem, which is a really hard and not fun place to be. I will admit that. When you're stuck there, you're going to see a lot of stuff that you don't understand, and it's easy to get to the point where you start losing confidence in yourself, which is, I don't understand some of this code, this doesn't even mean anything to me. Why is this, I'm out of my league. Why am I even here, right? That's the wrong thought process. Control F is your friend. Find what's going wrong, find evidence based on what came out of that, and find the pieces of code that you care about. If you spend time trying to look at everything in a code base that you are not familiar with, you will do yourself in. Look at what's important. Most of it is probably not related to your problem. And again, Control F is your friend. Now, let's say you're actually building something. Well, believe it or not, the same thing applies. Even though maybe you wrote all of that code, don't get distracted by that code. Even though it's your own work, you can really get sidelined if you start looking in the wrong place. You have to trace it to the source. That is, by the way, if you're building something, like good error statements and log statements are kind of really important to lead yourself to the solution eventually. What it's probably going to end up being is something that either you or the other person who worked on this thing had not considered. This happens all of the time. And believe it or not, even though it's looking super complicated and you're feeling doubtful about yourself because you don't understand everything that you're looking at, and you look at code and there's a good 70% of it that you don't get, and maybe you could if you spent hours and hours looking over it, you feel like, how can any human being do that? And you're right, that's not how a good problem solver solves a problem. You need to stay focused on the problem. What is going wrong? Target in on what's important to you, and what's important to you is to solve your problem. So, again, back to what makes this clock tick. If you've gotten this far, you probably have realized by now there's something about this that you don't understand, something that you're missing, or something that you don't know. When you look at the code, you're gonna think, oh man, there's a lot of stuff I don't get and a lot of stuff I don't know. That's not important. What's important is, what do you need to get and what do you need to know to fix the problem? So try to focus in on it. Don't get too lost in the woods. And that's something that happens in the woods, is that you get lost. So don't feel bad about the fact that maybe you're lost. And keep in mind that tomorrow is another day. You're not alone. Never, honestly, today, there's always someone out there that can help you. But don't rely on help. Keep in mind your responsibility. You know, whatever role you're in, whether you're a student or you're at work, it is kind of on you to fix it. That is your job. Unless it's not, in which case call somebody. But if it's your job, you need to understand what the problem is. And the only way to do that is by focusing on it and ignoring the things that you don't understand that don't pertain to it, but attempting and doing your best to understand the things that do pertain to it. Don't let things that you don't know that aren't important discourage you or distract you. It's very tempting to do that. Don't. For now, your task is to figure out that one thing that you don't understand that is making your problem be a thing, and you need to correct that problem. That might mean figuring out something that you don't truly understand at all. Even out of all those things that you saw that you don't understand, you know, that's overwhelming. But if you ignore those things that you don't understand, that you don't care about, and you can pay attention to the one that you don't understand that you do care about, you'll learn something. And even, you know, the other stuff you saw, you might eventually learn that too. But the most important thing now is fixing your problem. There must be some way this clock ticks. Figure that out. Okay. If you like this video, give me a like. If you don't like it, give me a dislike. And if you want me to keep making content like this, subscribe to my channel. I like doing it. I appreciate it. And have a good night.